I will call the June 18th, 2019 meeting of the Batavia Library Board of Trustees to order. And would you all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Daniel, will you call the roll?
Yes. Blodgett,
Here.
Collada,
Here.
Garrett,
Here.
Larson,
Here.
McKenzie,
Here.
Russo, here. Smith.
Here. Thank you, Daniel. Item number 4, any comments from the audience? No comments? Item number 5, approve the consent agenda. There are quite a few items on the consent agenda this evening, so I'll read them through quickly. First, the regular meeting minutes and the closed session minutes from May 21st. Expenditures, the cash disbursement detail report from May of 2019. And then under other action items, an ordinance specifying the library board's regular meeting schedule for 2019 through 2020. Basically, that's just a list of all of the third Tuesdays of the month for the next year. An ordinance ascertaining prevailing wage, which used to have to be approved as an ordinance, but our attorney has told us that is no longer necessary, and George has just included a report on that. Number 3, an ordinance transferring funds from the library fund to the special reserve fund. That came from the Standing Committee on Finance. Number 4, a resolution approving and authorizing the library director to execute the Illinois OCLC Services Program Member Agreement for fiscal year 2020. And that came from the Committee on Services. An approval to send an RFP for cost estimating services to the Frederick Quinn Corporation came from the Committee on Facilities. Appropriate staffing levels, Library Systems and Services LLC of Rockville, Maryland. Again, that was an RFP to employ that company to do a review of our staffing needs. And number 7, the library plan for implementation of amended minimum wage laws for year 1 only, and that came from the Committee on Services. The revised salary schedule is in your packet, and there will be some salary adjustments for the year 2019 to 2020. Is there anyone who wants to take anything off of the consent agenda? Then I need a motion to approve the consent agenda. And a second?
Second.
And George, is that just a voice vote?
That's a roll call.
A roll call vote.
Blodgett,
Aye.
Collada,
Aye.
Garrett,
Aye.
Larson,
Aye.
McKenzie,
Aye.
Russo, aye, and Smith.
Aye. Thank you, Daniel. I will need a motion to approve the agenda for this evening. Okay, sorry, before we approve that, we are adding after item 12, a closed session for this evening. So that will be part of the approval.
Oh, okay. And I move to approve the agenda with the addition of the closed session.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 7 is financial reports. Joe?
No dramatic changes, 12 days to go.
12 days to go. Until the new fiscal year starts.
Joe, this might be a good time just to give them a quick update about what you've been doing in terms of the transition.
In terms of what?
The transition for the new software.
I've done a couple of days of training, one tomorrow morning. There are about 7 days total, 3 hours a day. The intent is to start the new fiscal year with the new software. Ordered new checks today, and so far so good. Of course, I haven't really gotten into the software yet, so we'll see. But it's easy to work with. And actually, I think I have seen it before in a prior life someplace. Company is, they're now called Community, I'm starting to say Comfort Brands, Community Brands. And they bought a company called Abilla, who bought something called Sage MIP. So Sage is a company that goes way back, and I think I saw them years ago someplace. So it's pretty easy to work with. So.
Is there a point at which all the information on your legacy software switches over to the new software?
No, right now we've talked about probably taking year-end balances so that I've got a 2-year comparative. I want to see what it's going to take to do that. We may look at a couple more years, but for the most part, I think just start fresh. I have got all the prior years back to I think 2002, which is as far back as I can go, both saved electronically, the balances, the ends, and all the check registers, even though it's been audited, both electronically and as a file copy. So
Does that mean you'll be maintaining the older system for a number of years until?
no ma'am. And as soon as the next one, the new one works, I'm pulling the plug.
But you'll still have access?
Yeah, we won't lose the
That's kind of
files.
what
The
it-
files will stay there. So.
Okay.
And the software's not going to go away. I mean, we bought it, so it's there. So
And it was a DOS system, so they're mostly flat files?
yes.
I believe it was purchased originally in 2002.
That would be about right, because that's when it is too, so. Crossing my fingers for 12 more days.
All right, thank you, Joe.
Sure.
Number 8, President's Report.
7B.
Oh, sorry, 7B. Tentative form of an ordinance approving and adopting the annual budget and appropriation for library purposes for fiscal year 2019-2020.
This is part of the process of adopting the annual budget appropriation now in June and July, and then that leads to the levy in October and November. So no action is required on this. It's just a report for your information to show you what the appropriation looks like. This notice is being published in the newspaper to let the public know about a public hearing that will take place before the July board meeting on the budget and appropriation ordinance, and then at the July meeting, the board will actually adopt the annual budget appropriation, which then gets filed with the county. So this is also available in the business office and the reference desk for public inspection for those that wish to inspect it.
So we're just showing that everything that's going in is going out? With the ending cash balance on hand, all zeros?
In a way,
Explain
it's,
that.
we can only spend what we appropriate.
Right.
And so the actual, for each fund, it's showing the beginning cash and any revenues we anticipate, and then expenditures equals the total balance in the fund, so that if we need to, we can actually spend up to the full balance of the
I
fund.
see.
So that's why there's a separate column that says appropriation, and that is in fact equal to the total.
So when the line, I get the appropriation line, but when the line expenditures though, those are not expenditures that are budgeted
No.
necessarily. They're just, it's a net number to get down to the
Correct,
zero.
correct. That's exactly right. It's a peculiarity of the government appropriation process. And we cannot levy any higher than the amount we appropriate. So that's another factor that goes into this. So we tend to try to calculate. We try to get information on what the EAV might be, and to come up with what we should be appropriating, so we can anticipate what we need to levy, And then the amount we levy this year will be available for us to spend next July 1st, 2020. So the whole process is a little out of whack, frankly.
And this is dictated by the state?
Yes, this is a
Requirement.
both the levy, both the budget and appropriation process and levy process are in fact based on Illinois statutes.
Okay, thank you, George. President's report. I did attend the Batavia Tax Increment Finance Joint Review Board meeting this past Tuesday. It was kind of interesting for me since I've not really been involved too much with TIFs, and so kind of got a nice introduction to that and a status report on the various TIF districts in Batavia. And I need to appoint 2 trustees, other than Daniel, the secretary, to perform an audit of the secretary's records, and that has to be done before September. It doesn't take very long. I've done it myself in the past, so. Kate?
I'll do it too.
Okay, Kate. Jenny?
I'll reach out to schedule.
All right, item 9, good news, comments from the board. Anybody have good news? Okay. Well, they say no news is good news, right? So, that's great. And correspondence and communications, I have not received any correspondence to report.
There's one thing in the packet on the green paper, which we did not receive this via the Postal Service, but I picked up on the fact that some neighboring libraries had received their award letter for the Illinois Public Library per capita grant. So I contacted the state library and they said, well, we thought we mailed it, but they sent us an electronic copy, and so the grant has been funded again for us at the full amount, $1.25 per capita. So
Hopefully they also know who our current
I was going to say
president
this.
is.
As in previous years.
Well, it's interesting, one of the things that we're required to do after a new board is seated and we've elected officers is certify the members of the board and the officers to the Secretary of State's office and state library, and we also share that with the city and other local governments. And so I noticed that somehow this never quite, over the last 2 years, ever quite drifted over to, at least 2 years, I guess, yeah, to the state, to whoever the grant office. So we can follow up with them, and makes you wonder why you have to file these things.
George, the warrant was issued at the Controller's Office on June the 10th.
Oh, we actually have the money?
Well, not quite.
Oh,
It's now in the queue.
okay. Well, the warrant was issued, okay.
Well, it's earlier than previous years, right?
Not necessarily.
No.
I think this letter date
Seems
is
like we were
about a
kind of
month
waiting.
earlier. And I'll soon get it into the warrant if you haven't a clue. I don't think they do either.
In 2018, the letter came out in April, so this actually was, even though I didn't receive it at the time, this came out a good 2-3 weeks earlier than, or a little more than last year.
Okay, item 11, directors and librarians reports. George?
There's some written materials in your packet. One thing I wanted to mention, and some of you, most of you probably already know this, that our new website was launched earlier this month, I want to say June 5th, and a whole fresh new look, and kudos to Pat Leonard and Hans Kaiser for the immense amount of work that went into creating our new site. And there's still little tweaks going on, but of course that's the nature of a good website. You're going to continue to massage and add and revise, but the whole look is completely different. And let us know when you have a chance to work with it. Let us know what you think, if you have any suggestions.
I have to say, that the first time I went to it, it's a very pleasing look. And I really did not struggle at all to find what I was looking for, even though it was drastically changed. So I think actually things are easier to find on the new website.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. There's some information actually in the director's report from a column in Neighbors, but I wanted to share with you my visit to the city council meeting last night, where I was updating them on the year of Mark Twain in Batavia. This was a handout I gave them. This was actually my report, and I decided to make it more than a report. I decided to add photographs and other images to lighten it up a little bit. And we also handed out, anybody who needs more mini marks, if you haven't already got plenty of mini marks, we've got some mini marks for you. And so I gave those to the council members, some of whom came up afterwards and asked me for extras, which was nice.
Yeah.
And then also we have the flyer for this fall's presentation, Mark Twain in Person. Share these with your neighbors and friends, and hope you can join us. We're very excited to be bringing Mark Twain to town 150 years after he was originally here. And the council is very receptive. We were able to, again through BATV like tonight, spread the word a little bit further in the community about what we're doing. And one of the things I concluded with yesterday was that kudos to the library's many community partners. Together we make it happen for Batavia, because there are, I don't know, 5 or 7 other organizations that we are collaborating and working with for these events throughout the year, and so it's become really a complete community project with the city and the Park District and the school district and Main Street and the Historical Society, the Depot Museum and such. So it's just it's nice that we can, the library can take that kind of role in our community.
I have a question. Is that picture going to stay out there?
For the
photograph?
For the rest of the year, at least.
That's so cool. I love it.
That's the Revere House, a hotel that was on Batavia Avenue, where Mark Twain might have stayed when he was.
Not sure.
No, it is stayed.
There's no record.
So,
Thank you. So that I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have them. And I've also updated the goals section at the back end of the director's report as well for your information. Making good progress on all the goals for this year, which I suppose the board is going to want to, services, I guess, will be working on it. So, if there are no questions, then Joanne and Stacy are here eagerly awaiting their turn.
Good evening. One feature I'd like to point out about the webpage, and doesn't even necessarily have to do with these services, but now there is a search box. So if you're looking for something on the webpage and you're not finding it, as I was today, I just was like, where did we put that? I wondered, and I put in the search box and poof, it was there. So that Pat and Hans did a fabulous job on that, and I love that search box. So for the new members, I like to send around pictures, little doodads that we're doing in new services. So I'm sending around some things for Summer Reading Club 2019. We are in full swing. We are handing out prizes. Children are reading and coming in and recording their logbooks. So it's a lot of fun downstairs. Particularly mornings seem to be particularly busy down in the youth services department. So if you're wondering when you should come to the library, maybe skip a morning, because that's when you're probably not going to find a parking spot. Monday was pretty crowded. The pictures that are going around are just a couple of the programs that We've had so far this year, we have over 100 programs planned for children this summer. We do have over 500, I think 529 children have already completed level 1 and started collecting rewards. So that's 9 days into reward collection. We've already had 129 children in, and other children are coming in to get more books or do some other activities, some of our other contests. So it's been a busy spot downstairs. We have 45 generous sponsors who have donated rewards for our youth services readers this year. And as I mentioned in my board report, we started a couple years ago. Hans Kaiser designs a proud sponsor, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that we send out to just our local sponsors, just the ones that are in Batavia, very local. And we invite them, we thank them for their donation, and we invite them to put the proud sponsor sign up in a window in the front of their establishment or behind their counter, wherever they'd like to do that. And we hope that anybody who goes in and sees one of those proud sponsor signs will thank them for being a sponsor of our summer reading club. YS staff contact sponsors every year, and our sponsors, we are very fortunate to have very generous sponsors, and we time and time again, even within this last week, as we're handing out some of the coupons that we get, have so many children who just eyes kind of light up, and even whose parents are just like, wow, this is very generous, and it is very generous of our sponsors, and so we'd like to thank them. Friends are one of our big sponsors, and they're providing a paperback book as they have in the past. We've purchased additional paperback books, and this year we're giving children the option that if they've always had the option to continue reading if they've finished the program and there's still a little time left in summer reading club. This year, we're inviting them that if they go 3 more levels or complete the entire extra sheet, they'll get another book. So they have an option to earn 2 books this summer if they've read every day. They really had to read every day during the summer in order to do that. So with our friends, that was a nice, generous gift that we're able to do that for this year with that money. We have started our summer outreach to both Mooseheart and Batavia Apartments. And Amanda Vanderwerth, our school services librarian, is taking our summer reading club out to those 2 agencies. And this year, our intern, we have an intern from Dominican University, a librarian intern, and she is going with Amanda to help facilitate that program at Batavia Apartments. And she was very thrilled to hear about that was something we do during summertime, and really wanted to be involved in that kind of an outreach. And so that's a great learning experience for her.
Joanne, can you explain, is there something that happens on site at those locations?
There is. So at Mooseheart, we have worked with Mary Miller, the librarian at Mooseheart, to develop a program that's very similar to our summer reading club program, but because of how their housing structure is, children are sending get a little bookmark that they take home. Amanda comes on a week, they send a little bookmark home, and what we ask is that they, like our children who are participating in the club here, check every day that they read and that their house parent signs off on that. And then when they bring that back the next week, I believe Amanda goes there on Tuesday mornings. So when they bring that back the next week, Amanda checks them in on this. Mary and Hans has developed this poster now on a big poster, marks off the days they've read, and if they've reached a prize level, they get some kind of a coupon, very similar to what the kids are getting here. So we do that. It's a little different format because of the house parent setup that's at Mooseheart, but that has worked very well. And Mary Miller, the librarian there, has then also arranged for some volunteers that come in and read with the children during that time when Amanda is there running summer reading club. So we're basically taking the program to them, and that's part of their morning activity. At Batavia Apartments, which we just started last week as well, this system worked pretty well at Mooseheart the last couple of years, and so last year Amanda developed it to work similarly at Batavia Apartments, except there, I have to think now, are they using our I think they might be using our logbooks, or is she doing a bookmark there too? And similarly, then we're checking them off. What Amanda's doing, Amanda and Suzanne this year are doing at Batavia Apartments, is they're also taking an audiobook along. And so the time that they're spending together, it's part of their day camp time, they're listening to an audiobook. And Amanda said, they've tried different things over the years. She also will play some word games with them. But she said they were thrilled to listen to the audiobook. So it's a really nice way to get out to some children who might not make it into the library very often.
Do you take books, like books that they can check out?
Well, at Mooseheart, we meet in the library,
Right.
so they have access to that. And at Batavia Apartments, they also have a library
Okay.
of their own that children can borrow the books at.
Okay.
So great outreach opportunities for us. Just a couple other items of YS News. We have 54 junior volunteers helping with us with programs and reading with younger children, and stapling all those coupon packets together that we're handing out to prize winners. We've added Nintendo Switch games to our video gaming collection, of which I looked tonight and there was like one on the shelf. All the rest are checked out, so those are getting a lot of attention from our young patrons. And we received a gift from Batavia Nursery School. They come during the school year, they check out books. We host a visit for them almost every month, not quite every month, and they just give us a little thank you at the end of the year for hosting them. And so we then purchase books of things that they enjoy reading and they like to check out. We have additional copies. I'm hosting a story time this Friday night at the Kane County at the Cougar Stadium for Relay for Life. I'm part of that program, and we'll be doing a little story time at 7 o'clock. This is the second year. Andrew Deachman and I did it last year. I'm going solo this year for that. And Saturday, Jen Connon is doing our first story walk by the river at 11 a.m. for families. So come along. She has a great little storyboards along the way, and families are going to be putting together a poster. Hope for no rain, though. Because rain location is back here at the library. So hopefully we can be outside and on the river walk, and that's our first time doing that, so we're pretty excited to see how that goes. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Stacy?
Thank you. I'm going to send around summer reading blogs for adults. So Summer Reading Club is underway for adults and teens in adult services. To get started, all a person needs to do is pick up one of these blue sheets, or for teens it's green, at the reference desk and start reading. And once they've finished 4 books, bring them on back. Prizes happen then. And then you pick up another sheet and just keep reading throughout the summer. So feel free to take 1 sheet or more if you're going to be reading up a storm. Also, feel free to take sheets for other members of the household. We can send these around a second time if need be, because we've got lots of people already coming in having finished 4 books already. Adults already finishing 4 books. I'm impressed. We're also taking Summer Reading Club on the road. Misty, our home delivery assistant, is taking home delivery once again this year to the different locations that she visits, whether it's individuals in their homes or Homestead, Riverine, Heritage Woods. So we're delighted to have those folks participating. We have some serious readers out there at those locations, and it's wonderful that they get to participate in this annual activity too. Speaking of reading, we have selected our One Book, One Batavia 2020 book. It's the book The Readers of Broken Wheel recommend by Katarina Bivald. It's a novel. It's been a few years since we've done fiction. And it's a book all about the enjoyment and the love of reading and how that can make a difference in the lives of individuals and in the life of a community. So we're going to be doing a lot of reading and book-related programs and initiatives, and we're going to mix it up a little. It's going to be a fun year ahead. We're really excited. We have a list of possible activities longer than any 3 libraries could reasonably do, but we're going to pick and choose which ones we think would really complement one another. So watch for more news about that, especially after the beginning of 2020. We'll be launching some exciting things. And finally, a little bit more about taking the library on the road. Misty, our home delivery assistant, along with Pat, the promotional services manager, were out in the community recently at 2 senior fairs. It's the season for that right now. So they were at the Homestead Annual Health Fair at the end of May, and at the Super Savvy Senior Expo that the Batavia Park District puts on, that was in early June. So on the very same day as the website launch, Pat was also out there representing the library in the community. I don't know how she does it. So Misty and Pat were getting out the good word about library activities and programs specifically for seniors and connecting with them. They had a really cool giveaway as well. So it's a delight to have those folks out spreading the good word. Any questions? Okay, thanks.
I just think it's lovely, at the Speak Up sessions, we talked about the library offering services all the way from the very young to the seniors, and I think your reports tell us that we're doing that. Thank you. All right, number 12. Committee and official representative report. So the first one up is Kate on facilities.
Our facilities committee meeting mostly dealt with the contract for services to assess the space here in the library, and I think I saw a lot of you guys there, so I won't go too much into detail about it. The goal is to make sure that we are being as efficient as possible when we are taking care of the building going forward, so that we're not duplicating work and adding to the expense of any projects. So the report that we get back that we just voted on tonight on the consent agenda is going to give us a lot more information as a nice addendum to the capital assessment study. And hopefully with those 2 things together, we're going to be able to start prioritizing what needs to happen when, so that we can be effective. The other thing that we did talk about a little bit were some of the things that we'd like to do with the committee over the next little while. And so I'm very excited about all of that. If anybody on the board, but not on the committee, has ideas, please feel free to share them.
Thank you, Kate. Outreach?
Similarly, we spoke about what the priorities are for that committee going forward. All the subcommittee members are new to the outreach committee, so it was an opportunity for us to delve into more about what the historical priorities were for outreach, and to also kind of voice our perspectives on what we'd like that team to do and look at going forward. So more to come on that. No particular actions or decisions that came out of the last meeting.
Thank you, Mike. On services, we did meet, and literally everything that we talked about at that meeting was on the consent agenda. So, Elizabeth, the foundation?
Yes, the foundation did meet this month. The big thing is obviously preparing for the visit from Mark Twain on September 26th. The foundation is also looking for new board members, so if anyone here or if anyone in BATV land knows of someone who would be a good fit for the Library Foundation, to please let us know.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And Daniel, Friends?
Yes, with the Friends, there's 3 items. The first, several years ago, the Friends established the Margot Cooper Scholarship for a library page. That's a nice benefit of being a page, that seniors can apply for a scholarship, and that was awarded to Amanda Biggle. The Friends are working on sales. There's a sale planned for August 3rd, which is a special sale for educators so that they can get some reduced priced items, and a vintage book sale is coming up in December. The May book sales were $952. And then the Friends also had their election of officers. So Carlene Hogan is the president, Sue Campbell is the secretary, Dick Yingst is the treasurer, and the other board members are Helen Conrad, Margot Cooper, Rosemary Henders, Gail Mary, and Linda Rohr. So the Friends do a lot for us and they're busy.
Thank you, Daniel. And BATV?
The report in your packet, in the same color.
Okay. Did everybody get a chance to read the? Yes. Okay. Okay, so we've pretty much gone through the agenda and help me out here. We have to adjourn from this meeting or?
Actually, there needs to be a motion to go into closed session for this purpose, which is, I can read it, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body as authorized by the statutes. And then it takes a motion and a second and a roll call vote.
Okay. So I need a motion to approve going into the closed session for the purpose that George read.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, and we need a roll call vote.
Blodgett,
Aye.
Colada,
Aye.
Garrett,
Hi.
Larson,
Aye.
McKenzie,
Aye.
Russo, I, Smith.
Aye. Motion passed, so we will